Hi, it's Christine Potvin, the Paladina, and I wanted to speak to you guys in this video about, um, and I've had a couple of clients with this issue, but one in particular that came to me within the last month regarding having a problem with her period for the last 2 years, having tremendous pain and an elongated period with a very heavy bleeding, very heavy tissue discharge. And no doctor, no doctor was helping her resolve this because they didn't see anything wrong with a regular PAP test or anything. And I want to go over a couple things with you as to exactly what happened and how I knew the immediate answer to resolve it. So let me go over something with you. This is someone who had not one, but two Moderna shots 2 years ago as a mandate to keep her job. Okay, so at the time she wanted to keep her job, so she didn't want to do the shots, but she did. And when she got the first shot, there was maybe, a little bit of warmth and stuff, and nothing major seemed to occur right away. It's after the second shot that things went really bad. And of course, she didn't know, like from what I've been educating on. So her periods started to get from they were normally about 10 to 11 days, but normal amount of discharge. Now they were extremely painful. I mean, extremely painful and very heavy discharge, very heavy tissue discharge, elongating to 14, 15 days. So she had this going on for 2 years. Her doctors, even one doctor said it was all in her head and prescribed her antidepressants. Yeah, I know. It's here, I'm a big proponent from what I went through with intentional poisoning and what metals and toxicity does to the body, chemical toxicity as well. And I'm a big proponent of finding root cause, testing, finding root cause, and resolving what is causing that issue, okay? Obviously, it's not in her head. So I'm going to tell you how I knew that this was a higher up the track infection, and she needed to do a deeper PAP test, which is going through the button of the uterus there and finding the infection, which I knew was higher up the track. So a couple things. So this is intuition with understanding how the female body works, but also I'm going to say it's probably at least 20 years ago. I was married then, and we were waiting to have kids and stuff. And then we were, doing our normal thing, right? And I then found, and this is like a year and a half before we decided to start having kids. And we were very active sexually, together as a couple. So one month, my period, all of a sudden, I would just almost like hemorrhage. I mean, just like it would whoosh. I mean, just, I'm trying not to gross anybody out here, but I've got to describe what happened. It would just either the first or second day of the period, and you wouldn't know because it would just happen. All of a sudden I'd have this really whoosh of a tremendous amount of blood and tissue, and it would just go all the way through everything, all the pad, everything. And I was like, oh my God, I mean, this is crazy. Something is really wrong. Go to the gynecologist, and I explain what goes on. And this was going on for several months, and she checks me out. She does a PAP test. She says, everything looks pink and normal inside. So she said, everything looks normal. And she does a PAP test, just a regular PAP test, and says she's not finding anything. So it's like, okay, well, she says nothing's wrong. She goes, nothing's wrong. And I'm like, but something's got to be wrong. This is not normal. It's not going away, right? It's not like it's just a little random stomach flu or cut that's going to heal and go away. Year and a half. Now, before that year and a half came to completion, it was about 8-9 months into it. That's when we decided, okay, let's start trying to have a baby. Nothing was happening. And so my gynecologist suggests a fertility doctor just to check me out, see what, if it's him, it's me, whatever, and maybe there's something to resolve. So in one of the tests, you're supposed to have sex in the morning, come in right away, and he kind of tests to see what's going on. And he did, and he had me on the table there. He took it to the microscope, and then he goes, "Oh, this is really strange." And he asked me to come over to look through the microscope so I could see it. And he said, "You see, the sperm is just swimming really sluggish. It's not supposed to do that. It's like something with your acidity. Something's wrong. Something's really wrong." And he goes, "I need to do a deeper PAP test," he says, and I had to come back for an appointment for that. But anyway, he says, "Let's see what's going on deeper up the track." It is a little bit painful. I'm just going to be honest with you with that. And that's what I was telling Anna, who came to me this past month with this issue. But bingo. A higher up infection. And he said, most likely, he says, not an STD, it's a bacterial infection. And he says, normally this is and this is very similar to the movie Dogma by Kevin Smith. Great movie. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, a whole host of wonderful actors are in it. And the main character, same thing happens to her. She gets a bacterial infection from her husband, and it makes her sterile. And this was the concern the doctor had with me. He said, "You've had this for so long. It's been a year and a half." He says, "I'm really afraid you're not going to be able to have kids. You're probably sterile." And that's what an infection up there does. So yeah, anyway, but he said, "Here, I'm going to give you special antibiotics because that's what we have to do. We have to then kill this infection, obviously, because this can create worse issues later and be really bad." So when Anna came to me and she told me what was going on, that no doctor was resolving, saying everything looked fine, I said, "You need to go as soon as possible." I said, "When you get off with this consult, Zoom meeting, go get an appointment. You need to do a deeper PAP test I said, "I'm telling you, there is an upper infection inside the uterus. This has to be addressed ASAP. Okay, otherwise, this is bad news all the way around later in life. I mean, we're talking death, pain, major pain, or that she's already excruciatingly going through." I didn't have that kind of pain, but regardless, it's an infection that needs to be addressed. And I said, we also got her on the glutathione, activated charcoal, turmeric, ginger for inflammation, for the extra inflammation, to also start pulling out those toxins in her body from the shots and reversing all of that. This is just, I'm so thrilled to tell you this. Anna wrote me a testimony to say that I was correct, that there was an infection higher up the track. She got not one but 2 antibiotics to kill the infection. already. And I told her periods are not going to start being completely normal right away. That was what it was explained to me years ago as well. The first couple of months, you know, things are still getting back on track as this infection is cleared out of you. But then but she already was seeing less pain already, less pain, and things were not as long. Okay. So yes, her body was getting back on track. The glutathione, she said she already was feeling the results of more energy, more stamina. She was thrilled. I was thrilled. I was thrilled that to save this woman's life and get her back on track. No, I did say to her, I said, you may not be able to have children. I'm not gonna, she's not in a significant relationship right now. I said, I'm not going to say it's not possible or anything, because everything's always possible. I always believe that. So, but I said, just understand that this has been some time, and I was told that, and but don't worry. I don't want you to worry, but your life is important to resolve this. I mean, regardless of whatever you decide in life, we have to resolve this. And she's on her way. What I want to explain to you guys, and what you need to please pass this video to any woman you know. I did have a video. I'm going to put it in the link in the description. I mean, as a link in the description below, who did in a test. It wasn't fully forensic either, but it did show she had bacterial infection, yeast infection, hormone imbalance, complete hormone imbalance after one Moderna shot. And at least she didn't have a full-blown higher up infection, nothing like that. And we addressed it just with regular inflammation and glutathione and all of that to turn things around. But there are, I've heard stories where there are women that have had severe, very severe issues with their periods. If you are having tremendous pain and you have periods that are very long, very heavy, that are unusually heavy, okay, that's a sign of infection. Okay, the body is trying so hard to get rid of this infection that it can't get rid of, because it's trapped inside there, inside the uterus there. And everything downstairs could just look pink and normal. That has always been the fallacy that you find with certain infections. Even with, I'll tell you about from years ago, just as an example, my appendicitis. Normally, people say, oh, you should have a fever. There should be some sort of sign. I didn't have that. I just had the tremendous pain. And my mother had to convince the doctor, because she had appendicitis when she was 13, and her mother had appendicitis. So she saw it as something running within the women in the family. And she convinced the doctor to operate on me because she was very convinced that appendix was going to burst. And thank God, listened to my mom's intuition, and that they operated, and yes, there was a problem with the appendix. So don't think you have to have all these unusual symptoms of something should show that something is wrong. You may look downstairs, just like me and Anna did, completely normal. The infection is further up the track. So I hope this helps you. Please pass this on to anyone you know. You can read Anna's wonderful testimony at the bottom of the heavymetalpoisoncenter.com website. And sorry about that, the email dinging there. But yes, this is incredibly important. I'm going to do also another video in terms of talking about, when we're talking about reproductive organs and stuff, of what happens to men when heavy metals accumulate down in the testes. And that is a story that's going to blow your mind, of what happened with me and my ex during this period when we were being poisoned, and what happened during sex with all that accumulation in him. And anyway, so that's another issue for another video. Thank you so much. Please pass this on to any woman you know who is having these issues. I am thinking of doing one of these group Zoom calls. I've got a Zoom Pro account where I can have up to 100 people right now to talk further on this if anyone needs that kind of emotional support. So please contact me for that, and keep looking at the event calendar for more information on that as well. And thank you very much. Also, look down below. We are about to do a media blitz regarding all of these issues of toxicity. You know, people running amok with guns and stuff. I truly still feel that is very tied to you know, COVID shots causing this, with the amount of toxicity in the body, people not thinking straight, all this other stuff that's going on. Ohio derailment spill. We've got a lot of stuff going on with that as well. Anyway, thank you so much. Appreciate your support in getting us on the air for a national radio show and helping with this media blitz. Love you all. And anyway, thank you for being the light that you are, and spreading the news of health and wellness. We all have to work together and be our own doctors to save our lives. I mean, there's just too many doctors out there that do not test for root cause, and that is another goal of this company, is changing the standard of how the medical industry looks for root cause. I mean, we need to change it. We need to make it a standard, forensic toxicity testing a standard, and I will explain why in the next video. Thank you so much.